Hey y'all. Um, it's me, Evelyn. Hey YouTube world, it's me, Evelyn. Google Plus world, it's me, Evelyn. Happy Saturday. I am just going to click around my screen and make sure everything is working properly. Yes, you are going to have a bit of a lag, but okay, it's live on YouTube, live on Google Plus. Everything is working correctly. I do not have my YouTube interface running because it'll echo. So I'm relying on you to tell me whether things are echoing and saying whether something's going wrong. But either way, my advice would just be to refresh the page. All right, because there's not much that I can do once I've gone live, right? So, hello, happy Saturday. Hello to my YouTube cousins. Welcome to my little crevice of the internet. Shut up, please. And today we are going to be talking about life after high school and college. I posted a video maybe like a week ago, less than a week ago, in which I asked y'all, to leave your questions about high school, about college, about graduation, about life after all of that nonsense, and the comments, that I would come on here live and answer them for you. So I am making good on that promise. Thank you for showing up. I do have one request, that in return you would help me win this trip to South Africa. All you have to do is, if you're watching this from YouTube, you can see my top comment in the comment section, and I've put a couple links. So if you just do what I had asked in those links, that would be amazing, right? Okay. Let's get started. So I would like to start off by saying happy birthday to Erin Edwards. She said today was her birthday, so it's okay if you're not tuned in. You know what I'm saying? Although really, I know you got time. I'm just saying. So happy birthday to you, Erin. And I want to say my T-shirt, Do You Boo? It's from Shameless Maya's store. And my hat, I ripped that Spurs. And I got it from Mitchell and Ness, I think. Just letting you know. All right? Okay, so we're going to start this discussion, answering your questions, by talking about, oh, you like that? Do you like this right here? All this? Yes. It's my social channels, platforms. You can talk to me because sometimes I be going ghost from any given platform, so you can always rely on the other platform. I will rarely ever completely go ghost. Anyway, we're going to start this discussion by giving you a little bit of background. Okay, I am not in college anymore. I graduated from college almost 3 years ago, and that means I also graduated from high school. I graduated from high school in 2008. All right, and I studied journalism in college, and it's media and journalism and storytelling and all of that is something that I knew I always wanted to do from a very, very young age. But I just never knew what job title that meant I would have. And once I graduated from college, I was unemployed for about a year. I was unemployed. And but I did other things. I freelanced. I didn't have a full-time job after college. And but I freelanced. I went to Arizona and spent 3 months being like a little baby reporter. I went to Nigeria. No, that was after I was employed. I just tried to do as much stuff as I could, right? So that's a little bit of background about me. I am in a very creative space in terms of my education and career, so I will try to answer questions about more technical, scientific fields of study, but keep in mind that I'm an artist, and I might not really even too much know how to answer your question about how to be a mechanical engineer. Okay, so I'm waiting for the comments to pile up because I might have to refresh. Oops. I'm just looking for the comments. Ooh, I see one. Okay, so I'm going to start off by saying So I gave you a little bit of background, and I would also like to start off by giving my general philosophy about education and life, what I've known in my short time. And what I want to say up front is that I don't think it's very fair the way we treat kids or young people, the expectations we have on them. We expect a college freshman we expect a college freshman to know what they want to do with their lives when just 6 months ago they had to raise their hand and ask to go to the bathroom. Like, we went from absolute bondage in an institution to freedom. Like, what is that? How was that ever going to play out positively, right? So I also think we put too much stress on knowing what you want to do when we have not given the tools to explore it. We're stuck here taking the tax test. That's the standardized testing in Texas public schools. I don't know what it is where you live, but we're stuck here taking the tax test, being 18 years old, still being asked to find the perimeter of a rectangle. Like, I believe that if you challenge people, they step up to the plate, right? But if we don't challenge people, they start thinking that they can't achieve anything. Anyways, I'm not a teacher. I didn't learn any of this theory. Pedagogy, pathology, whatever. So let me just start answering your questions. Simple as that. Basically, what I was trying to say is don't feel bad if you don't know what you want to do in life, because life is cumulative. You feel what I'm saying? You might feel like you have no idea what you want to do, but 30 years down the line, you will look over the vast majority of your life and see it as just like a pin drop, a little droplet of water in the ocean of your life. Yes, hashtag it. All right, so first question comes from Tato Nkili. I can't read. Right after college, no job, no experience. Help. My parents are starting to give me the stink eye, and I'm not going to lose it. Now, you might not like my answer off top because I'm going to do a little bit of backtracking. How did you get to this point and not have any experience? Maybe you didn't have a job, per se. You didn't clock in. But how did you spend 4 years of your life and not gain any experience? What were you doing? Now, if you were working a full-time job, which according to this question you weren't, if you're working a full-time job to support yourself through college, that's a completely different thing. But if all you were doing was sitting in that class of 500 people and doing your scantrons, and then you go home, like, what did you do? So you might not like that answer. It's kind of like you're going to have to kind of like take a tisk. You should have been doing something. But now that that's over, you can only look forward, right? So get a job. R. Harris answered your question already, and it's great advice. You can't be too picky because as of this point, you don't really have much to offer. Quite frankly, all you have is a degree to your name. But the thing is, some people will only look at your degree as the bare minimum. So it's not really going to carry you. You also have to have that experience. So find a job, whether it is, at this point, you're going to need to find a job, an entry-level job in your field or adjacent to your field, or get an unpaid internship, or get a paid internship if you can find one. But you are going to have to get experience and get it now. Ask your professors, ask your advisor, ask people, your TA, because your TA is only, a few years older than you? Like, usually they're not that much older than you. So ask what they see. You need to make use of the resources that are available to you. You need to get that experience, because if I'm hiring somebody, it is a financial investment. Right? I'm investing in the fact that you're not going to cause me grief, and you're going to make this machine run smoothly because of your job. So if I look at your resume and there is absolutely nothing that hints to the fact that you won't really mess up in the game, there's nothing that hints to the fact that you got this, I'm not going to make that investment. So you need to find something in your field, or even if it's not in your field, you can't really even be too picky at this point. And start. Whatever it is, start doing stuff. Personal projects. You just have to start. So I don't want to spend too much time on one question. So that is my answer. Long story short, you should have been had, but now that you hadn't, you need to do right now, like yesterday. All right. Denny Agassi, you know, I don't know. Hey, Bill. I know I will get sick of the dining food after one semester. He's going into college. And at the same time, I don't want to be one of those people who rely on ramen noodles 24/7. What can I do, my dear Queen Evelyn? I am not a queen. I am your internet cousin. What you can do is cook. Shoot. It's cheaper to buy groceries and cook them than it is to eat at the dining hall 24/7. And more than likely, your dorm is going to have a kitchen, pots and pans to check out. You know what I'm saying? You just probably swipe your ID or something, and you just cook. That's really, I was never really much of a cooker because I hate doing dishes, but there were some people in my dorm who would just be in the kitchen at all times making paschetti. If I don't make you a big old pot of paschetti, and you'd be set. Also, my college had multiple dining halls. So if I was tired about the one on the south side where I lived, I would just walk to the one way north on the north side of campus. Then there were buffets, and there were like a la carte things with much better food. You can like switch, you know, keep the spice of life alive. Hopefully that answered your question. Long story short, cook. CB102490 said, I'm not finished with college yet, but I will graduate in January 2015. Congrats in advance. And they have one semester left. This person is having trouble finding an internship, kind of like the very first question. And I feel like if it's hard to find an internship, it will be even harder to find a job. Do you have any advice on finding an internship? What I have learned is it's about who you know, and it's about getting your name in people's minds, right? As someone who personally has to recruit people for things, I know that if I'm drawing a blank, I Google or like I ask people for recommendations. But first and foremost, I will look within my own mind, and if somebody comes to mind, that's the person I'm contacting. So if you're one of these people, nobody knows you. Like if, let's say, take me for example, if I'm in journalism and no newspaper knows my name, like nobody knows. Like nobody knows who I am. How can I expect anyone to put a good word in for me? How can I expect anybody to bring me up in conversation? Because these people in like places of power or whatever are like having conversations like, listen, I need somebody to do such, such, and such. And the person they're having the conversation with is like, oh, Evelyn just walked into my office the other day and she had said, like, it's really whoever is on top of their brain, at the forefront of their brain. You know, so you have to put your, go to office hours, go to the job fairs, go to the organizations like on campus. There was it like National Editors of America or something, Journalists of America, National Association of Black Journalists, Hispanic Journalists. Like there were all these organizations here for you. Like that's all they were there to do, is to put you in front of the people who are moving and shaking in your industry, right? Also, your university should have a forum or like a board, a directory of internships. They should have one. I don't understand this notion of not knowing where to find an internship. There was literally a list, whether it's online or on a bulletin board. Your college counselor, your advisor, there are these like spirit organizations for every school at my university, and all they did was post opportunities. So I'm not too much on you though, but you're probably not looking hard enough, because college makes everything so easy. Like they literally just hand you information. And so for me, there was something like the directory for students, the directory for alumni. There was a directory for the university, a directory just for the School of Journalism, for the College of Communication. Like there was a directory of job openings, of internships. All I had to do was apply and call, follow up, and I got several opportunities out of that. So hopefully that helps. There should be a directory. And if there isn't, walk into your counselor, because I know everybody got a counselor. Walk into your counselor's office and be like, have you heard of anything? Because according to your question, it doesn't sound like you've tried. Well, it sounds like you've tried, but maybe you have trouble finding an internship you want, but I don't believe that you have trouble finding an internship, period. So ask people who you know. All right, hopefully answered that question. I'm going to just look. Okay, hello, Nayalat. I'm sorry. What classes are a must for journalism broadcasting? That is something I can't tell you. We don't go to the same school. So I don't know what's a requirement to get a bachelor's at your college. I am not your college advisor. You need to knock on that door, and this person should have a list. First of all, you should know, but this person, your advisor, should have a list of all the classes that are required for you to graduate with a degree. It differs from school to school, so that's not a question that I can answer for you. So walk into your counselor's office and ask them if you're on the right track. I don't know how you knew what classes you're taking right now. No classes should be wasted, but you need to know that you're taking the right classes. Otherwise, you're going to be like, what? It's going to take me 6 years? So ask your counselor. Back to the video. Okay, Danielle has a question that is hitting home for me because it is my present day, right? So they found a job, yay, in the city that they went to school in, yay, which is great. But Danielle asks, how do you find new friends or be social when your main crew has moved back home or onto new adventures away from college? Well, it's a great question because I'm going through that right now, okay? My friends are like going to law school or like, you know what I'm saying, going to master's, MFA programs in England, like whatever, right? So going to Costa Rica, whatever, right? This is how you make new friends. You gather up your pride, you know what I'm saying? You push it down, and you just go meet people. There's meetup.com. Maybe you want to start with natural hair meetups if that's your thing. Black Girls Run. I don't know if you're a black girl, but you don't have to be to join Black Girls Run. It's just a community of women who run or walk, And Nikki is the head of the one in Austin, and I know her, and she's cool, and I go to the events that she, makes, and it's just always a good time. So also, just talk to people. If you like someone's face, tell them. So I was at South by Southwest, minding my own business. I was alone, and this chick was next to me, and she looked cute, so I was like, hey, I really like your hair, or hey, I don't know, I like your face. And then we just started talking. And then if you wanted to like exchange numbers or say, what are you doing later, blah, blah, blah. It's like you have to date your friends. It's it's scary, but I mean, think about how you found your friends in college. You had to talk to somebody. So the same thing happens now. If you don't, maybe people you work with, if there are younger people that you work with, you want to hang out with them, that's what I do. We're going to be on this journey together, Danielle. I have no concrete answer for you because I have not figured it out myself. All right? Let me refresh. Sorry, I'm just looking for the comments. How come I'm not seeing these comments? Caitlin says I'm feeling like a smartass. You know what I'm saying? You know me though. You know me though. Oh, you're welcome, Caitlin. Will I see you later today or no? Okay, let's see what else. I'm really trying to. I see Honey Asha, sorry. Hey, my first come on live feed. I'm moving up in the world, oh. Hey. Okay. back to the questions from the video. So Crazy Kitty 156 says, I graduated with my master's in social work. A master's though? And I'm broke. It happens. I guess I would like to hear how your job search was after college life. Let me tell you how my job search went. I graduated from college. I was like, oh, I probably should have been looking for a job. So like that advice I gave y'all earlier about like you should have had done something, I did not take that. I did not know that advice. I know that now. But at the time, I hadn't looked for a job, and like it was September, and I graduated in December, so I was just like, whatever. I guess I'm gonna go home. So I applied for a few jobs, but it was like they were like shots in the dark. I don't know the statistic, but I do know that generally most jobs are earned or gotten by word of mouth. So you can go on all the forums you want, not the forums, you can go on all the job listings, but you also need that word of mouth to help you get there. So I did a couple like blind calls, just like I don't know who you are, but I'm calling because I need a job. And those never went through, or I never got an interview, or I got an interview, didn't get the job. And so I just continued to freelance. I wrote people's blogs. I did people's social media. I was just like an online administrative assistant. My friend Ngozi had a radio show in Brooklyn, and so I would live tweet the radio show. I would update the playlists and things like that. And so again, I knew her. That's the only way she knew who I was, to give me that opportunity. And so then I applied to be a fellow for the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism in Arizona, and I got accepted. So I was like, whoa, I'm actually doing something related to my major. So I did that for 3 months, and there was the promise of a job after that, but they didn't really make good on their promise to anybody. Well, maybe J-Lou. I don't know if you're watching, maybe J-Lou, but nothing really came out of that. So I was like, okay, I'm back to square one. I was just chilling, continuing to freelance and do what I do, apply for jobs. I was going to move to New York, but I was like, am I ready for that struggle? I was not raised in the struggle, so I didn't know if I was ready for that, even though I knew a bunch of people in New York that would help me. But, yeah. Then one day I was minding my own business, and my former supervisor of my internship, one of the internships I had in college, she just emailed me, and she was like, we have a job. Do you want it? And I was like, yeah, I do want it. And she was like, all you have to do is apply, and we're probably going to call you to come in and an interview, So I came in and interviewed, and I got the job. So all of that to say, my job search was, in the end, ended up being full circle. I ended up working at the place I interned at in college, and it was all about connections and knowing people and being vigilant. You can't stop. While you're looking for a job, you should also be doing things in your field. All right? Hopefully that answered your question. Taylor Gregg. I'm not done yet, but I'm scared about the cold world after leaving the warm womb of college. What do you do to transition to the real world, like getting a job and moving out? So, like my friend said before, I was unemployed and living at home for a clean 10 months, right? So my transition, I was really ready to leave. So there was no transition. I was like, bye. You know what I'm saying? I'm done. I'm ghost. Ready to get this apartment. Me and my dad looked for an apartment, and I found it. I was like, can I afford it? And I could. And so, I don't know, I moved in, and life is now life. It happened so fast. I went from being unemployed to needing to find a place to live in a completely different city in one day. I had a weekend to find a place to live and move there. So, yeah. You'll be surprised. Like I said, life is cumulative. Hindsight is 20/20. So how do you transition? Either you just plunge in or you take baby steps. I just plunged in. Well, I lived at home, so that was like a baby step. But in terms of going, getting employed and finding an apartment, I basically had to plunge in. Um, I don't know if you've ever had a job or paid internship, but make a budget. I don't know what you're asking really. Let me read this again. What do you do to like transition? Ask your parents for help. Do you like your parents? Are they good parents? If they're good parents, they will help you, like with the moral support. You feel what I'm saying? And they'll put a good word in for you. They'd be like, stand up in front of the church, does anybody have any jobs for my baby? That's what good parents will do. And they'll help you move. They'll help you figure out, what a good neighborhood is. So all the things that we don't think about because, we're kids, we're in the world, they should help you do. Don't know if I answered that question. Let's see if there are any questions happening live. Any questions happening live? No questions live, I don't think. But hello to all 33 of you. That's cool. We're going to keep the questions moving. We have 30 minutes left, and I have not done anything. So, okay, Kim E. Powell wants to know how much I support graduate school immediately after undergraduate. Woo! But for people who are in the creative field, is it more important to gain real-world experience prior? Yes, it's more important to gain real-world experience, but you can gain real-world experience while you're in undergrad. You know what I'm saying? You can do that. I worked for the college newspaper, which I don't know counts as real-world experience, but I also interned for somebody during South by Southwest. So I got like videography experience. I got a little event planning experience. Oh my God, they're so loud. Do you hear them? And I try. I feel like sometimes I try. But I will say this. I don't know the answer to your question because I'm not in graduate school. I can only answer that question if I ever went to graduate school. So I will say this. It is very hard to go back to school once you have experienced what it's like to just go to work. Like to just go to work. It is very hard. Especially if you're like me and you're gonna have to work while you're in graduate school. That's a task, But for creative endeavors, you really need to know why you're doing it. Like, why are you going to grad school? Who has said that you need to go to grad school? Do you know what job you're trying to get? In my opinion, and this is the reason I haven't gone to grad school yet, is because I don't know what job I want and what makes me think a master's degree is necessary. So, I don't know if I support it or don't support it because I'm not in grad school, but I will say it's very hard to start back up once you stopped because it's a very different schedule, a very different frame of mind. School is not really fun, for me at least, and my job is pretty fun. So that's my advice. Just keep that in mind. It might be easier to plow through it, but you might have plowed through it and didn't get any experience, and now you're like the person in the first question. So take it with a grain of salt. Are you ready? If you do go to grad school right after undergrad, do something else. Don't just go to school. Be a researcher. I don't know what's required for grad school. Be a researcher. Do an internship. Be an apprentice of somebody. Ooh, Curly Temple is working on her bachelor's in electrical engineering. I can direct you to some people. How do you stay motivated when times get tough? I don't know how you stay motivated because electrical engineering is hard. I am not that smart. So how do you get motivated? Take a break. I knew, Kayla, I don't know if you're still watching, but you know Zach, right? He would never go anywhere because he was in engineering, right? But when he went out, though, he tore it up. You know what I'm saying? You just have to give yourself time to just like breathe and like have fun and then come back. Maybe you need do you have a mentor? Maybe you need a mentor that is in your field. Talk to your TA, maybe, or talk to somebody, talk to your professor. Maybe not your professor because they're very like disconnected from their life, but talk to somebody in your age range who is kind of where you're trying to go, and really ask them for encouragement because their words probably hold more weight than mine do. Because I was just making videos in school, like that's all. Like I was just reporting. So yeah. Moral of the story for most of these questions: connect with a real human being. Okay? You can't do this by yourself. Connect with a real human being. There are several human beings who it's literally their job to connect with you. Counselors. Holler at them. Chris Brown, really 23, wants to know, he didn't have time for an internship. I don't feel like I have the needed experience for a job in my field, marketing. Should I look for an internship? Yes, you should look for an internship. You only have 2 more classes left. What is that, a semester, half a semester? You should look for an internship because that entry-level job is going to look at your resume like, where's the internship, though? Like, what have you done, though? Kind of like what I said before about you being an investment. What makes their investment on you worth it? So I say get an internship, maybe a paid one. I say spring for the paid, you know? And I definitely recommend looking for an internship because you need somebody to vouch for you when you get that entry-level job. I did intern in school. That was the rest of your question. I did intern in school. I used one of those forum things, directories, and applied, and she was like, yes. She was some chick from Brooklyn who needed help during South by Southwest in Austin. There's a fly. And I helped her. And that was one of my first internships. And then actually Curly was another internship. Irvin. She's a PR major. It's so hard to find one and get accepted. No one ever gets back to her with these internships. That sucks. You just have to keep trying. I don't know. I can't really give anything more specific than that because I don't know why. Like, I don't know what your resume looked like. You know? If you're bold, ask why. Okay, you said no one has ever gotten back to you, but have you followed up with them? So never, like, if I fail in life, it's not going to be because I waited for somebody. It's going to be because they really didn't want me, right? So no one has gotten back to you. That's not an excuse. Call them. Email them. Be like, did you get my application? Like, did you get it? You know? Have you looked it over yet? Like, what's happening? Because most of these people are swamped. You know, they're busy. And sometimes they just, and now you have put yourself in the front of their mind. Not only did you apply, but you followed up, meaning you really want this. You know what I'm saying? It's all a game, really. So my advice is to follow up. And then if you're really bold and they say you didn't get it, ask them why. You know, they might not answer that. They might not get back to you. But sometimes they just might be like, look, your experience really wasn't even hitting. Get more experience. And right there, now you know what you need to do, right? So always ask. Never leave it in somebody else's hands. Don't be sitting here waiting for a yes or a no. Ask. All right? SAG and W. Um, this person has some advice for you. I did ask people to leave their advice. Her advice is to get involved in programs at your school that will provide opportunities for networking and potential jobs. Even though I struggled with finding a job after college, I know plenty of people who have become very successful, and it's because they took advantage of those programs that helped propel them to where they are now. Yes, like I said before. For me, it was the National Association of Black Journalists. If you're Latino, National Association of Hispanic Journalists. You feel what I'm saying? If you're white, it's called the world. The world is your oyster. You feel what I'm saying? But you need to put yourself in front, because especially when people get older in their career, they really want to give back. How can I give back to the children's? You feel what I'm saying? So speakers that come to your classes, guests that your professors bring in to speak, adjunct professors. Holler at an adjunct professor because they are working another job as they are teaching a class. They are usually in the field working, and then they supplement their income by teaching 2-3 classes in a semester. Holler at those people because they are the people who literally leave class and go to work. You feel what I'm saying? Holler at them. Good advice, SAG ANW. Sydney Harris. I'm a sophomore at Indiana University and majoring in sociology. And people's really be throwing shade at my liberal arts degree, particularly all my African pre-med BFFs roommates. How do you become secure in major choice, especially if it's not a clearly drawn out road like pre-med or pre-law programs? Also, how should I boom roast the haters? Boom roast the haters by telling them that they are probably going to be a bright-eyed, bushy-tailed doctor, and then they will be crushed and crushed hard by the medical and pharmaceutical system, and they will have absolutely no change on the world at all. Resistance is futile. You are nothing. You think you're over here healing people when really you are just a drug pusher. I know that's probably not true, but you really got to dig. I'll come up with a better dig later on. But just let them know that sure they're going to stack these coins, but they're probably not even going to get married because nobody wants to put up with them hours. Do they watch Grey's Anatomy? Do they see the strife? But anyway, I've always been secure. Well, that's a lie. Sometimes I wish that I just wanted a regular job that, everybody knew how to get. Go to medical school, do your residency, and now voila, you're a doctor. I wish I did that, but that's just not, I just can't do that. I don't know how to do that. So I would envy them, mostly because I felt like they were doing work in their mind, but they weren't necessarily being innovative, and it's, sorry if you are in that field, but I saw that as you are really good at following directions and solving, but I have no directions. You have a roadmap. I don't have a roadmap. So, I don't know. I always felt secure, though. Even though I envied them, I always felt secure because I knew this is what I was going to do. You can't fail if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. I know plenty of people who are in majors that are not for them, and they will not be happy. Guaranteed. No amount of coins. You know what I'm saying? No amount of coins can make you happy if what you're doing literally drains, not literally, but if what you're doing drains the life out of you. So, just know that you are, I'm going to do some Ayan Van Zant, come to my bosom. Just know that you are walking in your truth, or whatever, and that it will all pay off in due time. My computer's about to die. I'll BRB. right, let's see if anything is happening live. Doing, I haven't answered the question about boys. I'll get to that. So if you're new to this, welcome. Hello. This is probably going to be more than an hour. God, I hate you. But I'm answering the questions from my video asking for questions. I'm going to get to the questions here last because that's not what I had asked. Okay? So, woo, what? Sorry, someone is texting me creepily because they are watching. Hi, Martin. Yes, that's the fault in our stars. Woo Gambina says, advice to the grads. Work the temp agencies until you can land a decent job. You earn more Skrilla and experience than working at the mall, Starbucks, or the record store. True that. Victoria, you are not the only person who has asked this, so I'm going to address this. She is an incoming freshman. What should I expect? I've been given the college guys are pigs talk more than once, and even by random people who have heard I was graduating. So that's one part of the question. The second part of the question is, what are some tools of the trade to become a well-rounded college student who has good grades and still has a life? Is that even possible? Thank you. All right, college boys. Several of you wanted to know. This applies to college girls, college boys. Everybody trifling, all right? If you want to know, everybody is trifling, okay? College boys are now in front of and around more human beings, more people than they have ever been around in their entire life. And just like you, whether you're a girl or boy, just like you, the person, the people who you're trying to get with, they are also trying to discover themselves. They're also trying to reinvent themselves. They are also trying to make sense of everything just like you are, okay? So I know you're trifling, all of y'all. We are all trifling, and so is the person you want to be your bae, okay? They are all trifling. Another thing you have to realize, some people don't know how to handle attention, right? So now these dudes are now in front of more girls who want their loins than ever before. Maybe they grew 5 feet between senior year and freshman year of college. You know what I'm saying? Maybe them vocal cords stretched and now their voice mad deep now. Who knows? They had a chance to reinvent themselves. Nobody knows who they are or how whack they were. And now they're having all this attention and they don't know how to deal, which means they trifling, they messy. You know what I'm saying? They're still children, okay? It's going to, you know what I'm saying? Y'all, everyone is still a kid. So, how are boys in college? Not no different than they are like in high school. You feel what I'm saying? Don't put so much weight in them or anybody. You know what I'm saying? Girls too. Girls be trying to find themselves, reinvent themselves, come into their own. Please afford that same time to whoever you want to be your bae. You know? And now there is so much time. Listen, I have never done anything I did not want to do, but I have put myself in situations that were not good, right? I forgot where I was going with that. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that you have time. So much time. And things happen so fast. So fast. So, take things for what they are. Communicate. You know, I feel like girls have a tendency to be like, you should just know what I'm feeling. No. Because are you psychic? Because I'm not psychic. So, you know what I'm saying? And then there will come a time where you feel, shaded because somebody you was going after, went for a bop. You feel what I'm saying? Some girl who you don't think is on your level, and that's okay. Because just like you probably regret your high school bae, you're going to maybe regret your college baes. There will be many baes, whether or not they're true baes or just, circumstantial baes. Friday night baes, who knows? Anyway, so you have time. Making it do what it do, I'm using euphemisms, making it do what it do is so simple. Like, it's so, like, finding the do is easy. But, yeah, I don't know. Have time. Calm down. Calm down! So that was the question about boys. And have fun. You know what I'm saying? Colleges, I don't know. Don't be trying to find a husband. Like, don't be trying to find a husband when they're just trying to figure out who they are. Like, don't be trying to find a wife. She don't even know who she is yet. Like, she's 19. Like, give her a chance. You know what I'm saying? To, like, be who they are. Right? But this is coming from a person who clearly don't love these hoes. And I have never been in love. So, like, I entertain these hoes, but I do not love them. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, moving on. Okay, Jessica Savage has a question of, like, logistics. She wants to know, did I find a job, then move out, or do it all at the same time? I found a job, then moved out. Listen, you don't move out if you don't have a job. How are you gonna pay? How are you gonna pay for the place? You need a job first, or the promise of a job, like I had. They said, "Are you gonna start this date?" I was like, "Yeah, I can start." And so then I had to quickly find a place to live, and I also moved out of town. My family, Dorian wants to know, what am I even saying? You know, babe. Don't play like you don't know. You hear my words. What am I saying? She distracted me. Yeah, so definitely find a job first, then move out. Because when you get an apartment, you have to pay like first month's rent, last month's rent, all these application fees, insurance. I have to get renter's insurance. So it's actually a lot more than just rent that you have to pay for up front. So yeah. Sia the Air wants to know, how did I accomplish having my own apartment and car? INDEPENT. Do you know what that means? That's literally what her comment says. How did I accomplish this? Well, I got a job, so that's how I could. I had saved my money. Like I said, I had worked freelance and did a fellowship, so I had saved my coins so that if I got an apartment, I would have the money to pay all those upfront fees. And so I paid for all the upfront fees, and I knew I had enough money to pay rent every month and my bills. And then for my car, that was my present for graduating college. I wasn't one of these 16-year-olds with a car. I didn't have a car through high school or college. You know what I'm saying? I got that afterwards. And that was really my mom helping me build credit because I didn't have any credit. So she just co-signed on the car so that I could get the car. So I pay my bills, all my bills. And when it comes to furniture, let me tell you the story of my furniture. So again, I had saved my coins, just enough coins to maybe buy a bed and also pay rent and stuff. So me and Dad are in IKEA looking for a bed, and I'm like calculating because I'm like, I ain't got enough coins, I just have enough for a bed. And I just get a text from my mom who's like, it's on me. And I'm like, what's on you? And she was like, just get your furniture. And I'm like, is this a Leo life? This is a Leo life. So my mom blessed me with my furniture, like all the big stuff. I bought the little lamps, so like the tables, but like the couch and the bed. She bought that because she said when she was starting out, her dad, my grandpa, bought her everything. And so she's now doing that for me. And I was like, and so in my family, my family never allows people to pay them back So I could never pay my parents back. Like if I gave my mom money, she would like be so offended. All I can do is pay it forward. So I pay in turn, I pay for my brother like his dorm room stuff. Like I took him shopping for all his dorm room stuff. I bought him a TV, all that stuff. So that's all I can do. So that's how I do what I do. She has more to the question, so I'm just reading. Oh, she has advice for the ones who just came out of high school. Do not give up. Find something to do with your time. Yes, idle hands are the devil's playground, as my dad says. Time is traveling fast. Do not be afraid to do work. Make it a priority for yourself to be great. Amen. And ask questions when you notice greatness. Look out for it. That is some of the best advice. If you see somebody doing what you want to do, snatch them and ask them, how does they do what they do? How did you get there? You know? You feel what I'm saying? And invest in yourself because you are all you got. You feel what I'm saying? Kimberly wants to know, she don't know what she want to do. So should she just get into a liberal arts college and transfer to another college when she figures it out? I have no idea. She's a junior in high school. You still have time to figure out what you want to do, low-key, kind of. There's nothing wrong with going into university and not knowing exactly what you want to do. There's nothing wrong with that. But make sure you have to give yourself like a schedule, because you only got but a couple years to make good on your investment, right? I don't necessarily advise taking a year after high school if you don't know what you want to do, because like I said, idle hands be the devil's playground. But if you want to travel, if you know what it is you want to do with that gap year, do it. But if you don't know, that is trouble. Okay? So, I don't know how to answer that question. There is somebody further up in the comments who did take time off. So maybe you can connect with them. All right? Next question. Ooh, Brandy graduated, became a teacher, jumped into grad school, taking the plunge, moving into her own apartment while in her second semester of grad school. Any tips on juggling school, work, finances, and bills? I am not doing that, so I'm just working. I will find somebody to answer that question for you. I will find somebody to answer that question for you. Let me write that down, because I can't answer that question, because I am not. If I go to grad school, I will have to be working at the same time. So that might be me in the future. Who even knows? But I will find someone to connect you with. Samantha wants to know, what do I do with my degree? Most jobs are looking to see if you are disciplined and can finish college. And yes. So basically, no one knows my GPA. Like, that is completely irrelevant outside of the scope of academia. You know what I'm saying? So all people look, they just want to see that you finished college. You can do all the coursework. You can juggle, divide your time among different things. You are well-rounded, etc., to infinity and beyond. So I still think you should go to college for something you want to end up doing, because it'll make you excited about schoolwork. But at the end of the day, just remember that your life is more than your degree, and it's about what you do. And yes, college is something you've done or something you will do, so don't discount it. But at the same time, think of other ways to get experience, get in front of people in your fields. That was basically her advice, to just, because she has friends with 2 degrees who aren't even working in the same field as their degree. Point being, for my young folks, most jobs are looking to see if you are disciplined. I don't know. My brain's melting. But yeah, that's good advice. Asante the artist, I already answered your question about finding an internship. Look at them directories. IDK, I answered your question about high school boys. Arugula, I just graduated from college and I feel kind of like a loser. Dorian, are you still typing? Type. Finish the text. Oh, Caitlin wants me to tell you. Tell people to build your credit in college. Keyword build. Don't get a credit card if you're gonna max it out. But credit is a necessity in the real world. Yes. My mom co-signed for my car because I wouldn't be able to get it on my own. So she just co-signed for my car so that I would now have credit. And she helped me with like some payments so that I could build credit. You do need to build your credit because that's how, for example, most apartments need a credit history. Like they need to know that you can afford to live in an apartment. You feel what I'm saying? Thankfully, my apartment complex is brand new, so they just wanted people to live here, so they didn't ask for my credit, okay? Because they had like a policy where they didn't need your credit. But usually, if you try to find an apartment or a place to rent, they're gonna need your credit, and if you don't got none, they're gonna be like, "Oh, sorry, unreliable." But yeah, build your credit. Okay, Arugula wants to know, this person feels like a loser because they don't have a job, don't feel like a loser, life's cumulative, and I still don't actually know what I want to do for a career. I don't really know what I like, and I feel like I don't know how to do anything but be a student. Interesting. Any tips on discovering your passion? What I've learned is, and this is me living my life, and me also seeing people who I feel are wasting their potential. Your passion is what you do when you think you're not doing anything, right? That is your true passion. So there's this guy, there's several people I know. They're just so talented to the point that it pisses me off. Like they are just so talented. For example, he would draw, like his doodles, like in community college, not paying attention. His doodles were like beautiful. Like he could be illustrating children's books. He could be, doing all these things. And like he's like, I don't know what I want to do with my life. I'm like, duh, it's scribbled all over your notebooks. You should be doing this. Your passion is what you do anyway. It's what you would do. It's what you do when you're bored. It's what you do when no one's looking. It's what you do when you think you're not really doing anything. It's what you do when you think you're wasting time. It's your passion is what you have noticed you've just always done. So that's, I don't know your life, but to me that's how you find your passion. And I can look throughout my life and see that things have stayed consistent. I've always had a camera in my hand. I've always been writing. Always. I've always been like interviewing people, talking to people. There's a picture of me interviewing a giraffe at the zoo. I was like 5. Interviewing a giraffe because that's just what I do. I just wanted to make a story about me going to the zoo. I was like interviewing the giraffe, right? So don't feel bad for not necessarily knowing what job you want to get, but I believe you already know your passion. You just don't think it's legitimate or you don't think you're that good. But I don't know. Do some introspective. What do you catch yourself doing? Do you catch yourself making a beat? Hey, then you should be a producer. Or you can at least try, Yeah, that's how you discover your passion. And you also discover your passion by doing things. Doyen, I am going to delete you. You should discover your passion by doing things. Life is about figuring out what you don't want to do just as much as it's about figuring out what you want to do. And that's something I learned through my leak. because she was like, I had so many jobs, and that helped me check things off. Like, I don't want to do this. And there are things now that I'm like, okay, now I know, because I've done it, that I never want to do it again. All right. So, yes, this one woman, her advice is the same as mine. Don't put so much pressure on yourself to think you have it all figured out now. Someone asked, how do I be well-rounded? Hold on. Stephanie. She graduated high school, went to college for a semester, left to go travel the world. So if you're looking at my old video, find Nick Stephanie and talk to her. Her advice, do something that you love. Don't pick a career based on what your parents, friends, or whoever want for you. Follow your passion, because there lies your purpose. Yes, I agree. You can't lose if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Work at your own pace. I didn't finish college at the age of all my friends, but that's okay. Yeah, I agree. Samarian is 17 years old and a junior. So basically, Samarian doesn't know what they want to do. But scared to see all these people who have degrees and still don't know, like they're also back at square one. And that's something that scares me about seeing grad students who, okay, yeah, they have all this education, but you still ain't got no job. So that's what scares me, because that's supposed to be me. Anyway, is it all worth it in the end? Should I be stressed about not knowing? You should be proactive. Don't be stressed. You should be proactive, though. You should be doing something about the stress that you're feeling. And is it all worth it in the end? There's no way I can know that. Like I be saying, life is cumulative. You can only look back and be like, oh, that made sense. I tell you what, when I got my job after a year of being unemployed, and it was at the place where I interned for, it all came full circle. And I was like, oh. But while I was in it, I was like, this sucks, you know? So you can only see it, hindsight being 2020. But don't stress yourself out. Write things down. Think of a plan. If all you have to do is write down, I want to be a reporter. Now that you have written that down, or I want to try. Sometimes you don't know what you want to be. You just know what you want to try. So write down a list of all the things you would like to try. And then figure out, of those things, which one do you think is worth investing the time, 4 years, and the monies, lots of monies, to doing. And you can always change your mind, right? You can always change your mind. It might be difficult, but you can always change your mind. And then just go with that plan. Yep. Samanj wants to know, Samaj got 3 Ds their last quarter in 11th grade. And they want to know, do I think they can still go to college? I do school clubs and take AP classes. Am I the only one who fears not getting into any colleges and being a failure? You are not the only one. You are not the only one. I'm scared that community college wouldn't even want you. False. Community college always wants you. Then your family will disown you, and you'll be a homeless, depressed teen with extremely low self-esteem. Whoa. Samaj, look into my eyes. Okay? It's not the end of the world. First of all, you got 3 Ds your last quarter. Have you stopped to ask yourself why you got 3 Ds? Because now I'm thinking, as a grown-up / high school counselor, if I see that my student got 3 Ds and they have previously been an AV student, I immediately want to know what happened. You know, were you sick? Were you going through something with your family? Were you dating? You know what I'm saying? And you know you let your grades slide, where the class is too hard. First, you need to understand what you do next. You need to figure out how you got to where you got. right? So once you figure that out, I would suggest talking to a high school counselor because they know how to get people into college. That is one of their jobs, is to show their students how to get to where their students want to go. So talk to your counselor. I'm sure, I don't know if it's the same at your high school, but in my high school, there were special counselors if you were in AP or IB classes. Holler at them, holler at the regular counselors, holler at your teacher, the teachers you got the D's in, the teachers also you got the A's in, and ask them what you need to do next. They are there. It is literally their job to help. Do not sit here feeling things and then don't do anything about it. So if you really want to go to college, ask someone how you can get to college with your situation now. I personally think that the D's you got are not going to affect you negatively that much because they're just going to look at your GPA, but they're also going to look at the clubs you were in, how involved you were, did you work a job while you were in high school, and then your essay, Maybe you can use that to your advantage, which is what Capri Mom ×2 said. Talk about how you overcame them struggles. You had 3 D's. And talk about how you overcame them struggles in your applications essay. It's all about playing up your struggles. All right? So hope is not lost. Hope is not lost. But you do have to figure out how you got to where you were and then talk to somebody who is around you who actually knows you. It's their job to help you. So talk to them. Amara M. I have good grades, graduated from college in May 2013, congrats. It was a good school, whatever that means, she said. I have good grades, good credentials, but I never had a job before. I want to go to grad school, but my parents are doing a sort of tough love thing where I have to pay for the apps. But I basically have no money. Maybe having motivation. Sorry, I'm reading this question. I hope pursuing my dreams is worth it. Any tips on getting a job if you have never had one? I kind of answered that question already. Talk to the people who know you. There is so much power in just stating your purpose in life because you need to be on the tip of their brain. If you this was my problem. I had a professor actually tell me this, that he doesn't know what I'm going to do with my life. He said that he doesn't see me doing A, B, C, D, F, G. He said that, and I was just like, ugh. But it's because I never stated my purpose. There are people walking around who say all the time, I'm going to be a sportscaster. And they're like always doing sportscasting things. And they say it, and they say it, and they say it, and you believe them. And now you're looking for opportunities for them. And now when you see a random listing, you Facebook message them and say, oh, look, this might be for you. That's what you need to do. But if you're still in that in-between phase, you might just want to get like I don't want to say it that way, but like a regular job. You might not have time to find like a job in your field because they do want commitment. So if you're gonna get a job just to leave in a year, they're gonna be like, pass. So brain fart. But I will answer your question probably in text because I have no idea what I'm saying. I know asks, we are past an hour. I'm about to get my second bachelor's in media studies. I know you were a journalism major, so what career options did you learn about in school? Again, you're not going to like my answer. Caitlin said I was a smartass, but you're not going to like my answer. Why are you going to school if you don't know what job you want? I don't understand not knowing what job you want and then paying to go to school. Like, I don't have monies. Like, I don't have monies to pay for graduate school. So I'm not comfortable going unless I know why I'm there because it's not cheap. All right? So what career options did I learn about? I mean, I'm a journalism major, so all you can do is really report. You can be a magazine journalist, newspaper journalist, multimedia, you can be a videographer, you can work in new media. There's this kid on YouTube, Anthony D'Angelo. He literally studied YouTube in college. Yeah, those are the careers I learned about. I didn't learn about careers in college, though. I just did them. What career options did you learn about? Also, your professor is probably going to talk about all the jobs they had, especially if they're in journalism or media, because they know everybody is on edge because like the industry is changing. It's been changing for like how many years? But so ask them, what was your trajectory? Like, what was your path? It's going to be a very different path, especially if they, are like in their 50s and 60s. But ask them how they did what they did. And so I went to school for magazine journalism. I did not necessarily want to work at a magazine. The reason I did magazine journalism is because there was a multimedia program, but I didn't feel like they knew what they were doing, and I did not want to be someone's guinea pig. And then also because I wanted to learn how to write really long stories, and that was only taught in the magazine major. I wanted to learn how to like report on a story for months and write about it, because that's the kind of stuff I like reading. So that's why I chose what I chose. And then career options, you really just have to see what's out there. When you look on the forums and the boards, what do you see a theme? Do you see people looking for social media managers now more? Or do you see people looking for, one-man band, videographer, reporters? You just have to like be in tune and look around. So I'm done with the questions that are on that video page. So now I'm going to look on the questions that are here on this page and answer them. Oh, Awkward Life 94, hello, wants to know, what advice do I have for someone interested in the arts? Because I want to be a camera operator, but I feel pressure to go to grad school by my parents as a backup. Well, you are, I guess, kind of in luck, because being a camera operator is insanely specific. I didn't even know that. I just knew media, but you actually know that you want to operate a camera. So that's good. So I urge you to look into organizations that would help you do that. For example, in my university, there was TSTV, Texas Student TV or whatever, and you learn how to operate cameras and do a live broadcast. Sure, it's not really cute because it's a college publication, but you learn how to operate cameras. And then in Austin, there is, what is it called? In the city of Austin, there's this organization that you basically pay a membership fee, and you have access to all the classes you want about how to edit video, how to operate a camera. You run the public access channel. Like, you need to if you sound like you know what you want to do. So get in front of a group of people or an organization that can teach you. I feel pressure to go to grad school by my parents as a backup. So do I. But I don't want to go. If you don't want to go, don't go. True, because you're going to sabotage yourself. So don't go unless you're ready. So yeah, hopefully I answered your question. Ooh, I see comments. Oof, oof, oof. Ethan Washington. What is the college life like? Then a lot of people asked, how do I be well-rounded? Ooh, Caitlin said, hold on. Google Plus is not showing me the complete question. Caitlin says, at the end of the day, we all know what we want to do. We just don't think it's possible, or we worry too much about what others will think. Side note, advice, do you, boo, A side note, how did you make it to 21 and never work? No job, no internship, no research, no side hustle, nothing. That is, again, like I said, I don't want you to think like I'm, making a dig at you, but how did you get here? Like, what, did you really just go to class and go home? How did you do that for 4 years? You never wanted to do anything, especially if you didn't have to work. Like I didn't work for a couple of years. Then I had a part-time job while I was in school. So I had a part-time job, and I went to school. Um, yeah, that shows. I don't know how that's done. I was a research assistant. I worked at Naturally Curly part-time. Not all at the same time. These are all things I did. I worked at the newspaper. I interned, during South by. These are all things that I did. What else? What is college life like? College life is amazing because everything is in your control. It's also horrible because everything is in your control. So people have asked, how do you be well-rounded? Okay, there's a triangle. All right, this is what everybody says. We're going over, but who cares? There is a triangle. All right? Here you have sleep, here you have a social life, and here you have grades. You can only choose two. All right? You can either sleep and have good grades, no social life. You can have a social life and have good grades, which means you're not going to sleep. Or you can, what? Or you can sleep and have a social life and not have good grades. I chose have good grades and have a social life, which means I never slept. That's just what I personally chose. So to be well-rounded, there's no such thing as being well-rounded. You have to make sacrifices, and you have to have priorities. My priorities were my grades, and was having as much fun as I could possibly have because I was low-key a square in high school. So yeah. Hey, C. What up? Tyria Hill. I'm going to cosmetology school and plan to have my own salon. That's great. Do you have any advice for me? Because my grandmother keeps telling me to be a nurse. I don't understand what the advice would be. You're already doing what you want to do. All respect to Grandmama. All respect to her because she just wants the best for you. But if you're doing what you want to do, just keep doing it. Especially if you're the one paying for school. Now, if you're not the one paying for school and your parents are like, do this, you might have a little bit of dilemma. Deborah wants to know, sorry, I'm not going to get to answer all these questions because I asked you to ask them in the last video. So what's your advice for recent grads who are just now realizing they might have chosen the wrong career? Deborah wants to know that. Woo! Ha, that sucks. I don't have any advice because I have not been there. Let me think what I can pull out of my yeah. Again, all I can do, this is just a general piece of advice when you make mistakes, figure out how you got there. So how did you get through all of college and just now realize you were in the wrong career? My inkling is that you knew you were in the wrong career. You stayed there for some reason. So number one, figure out what that reason was and vow never to make that mistake again. All right? Number two, you are going to have to work. So you put the investment into this degree, use it for as long as you can stomach. And while you're using it, work on what will emerge next. Okay? That's the only advice I have for you. Paige wants to know how you go about picking a college. Figure out what you want out of life. Okay? I wanted to, number one, leave home, leave my hometown. But I didn't want to be so far because it's expensive to not be a resident of your state. So I knew I wanted to stay in Texas. I wanted to leave home, and I wanted to go to a school that was good for journalism, but also a city that was good for journalism. And so I figured Austin was my best bet. Austin is 3 hours away from home. Check. It's still in Texas, so it's cheap. Check. It's a public school, so it's cheap. Check. And number 3, it's in the capital of Texas. Like, it's the capital of Texas. So I can, if I work at a newspaper, a magazine, a blog, I'm in the mix, because Texas, as we all know, is the best state in the world. Just kidding. It's a pivotal place, you know. Austin is the capital. Rick Perry always doing something shady. Things are just always happening. So it was a happening place to be. So that's why I chose it. Just Google, y'all, the best school for engineering in Texas. And then go from there. That's really all I have to do. Is it hard to manage natural hair in college? Nope. I went natural in college. If anything, you have so much time. Like, you just be sitting there. You have time to detangle. Thank you, Miss Nats T, for tuning in. I really appreciate that. She wants to know, going to college in 2 weeks, congrats, and advice on what kind of job to get to support myself. You live in South Africa. I don't know how I'll be working in South Africa, but I don't know if there's work study that you qualify for, because the university, like my university, if you don't know what work study is, it's like your university reserving a set number of jobs for students who need to work in school. They don't want to get loans, or they can't get scholarships. So work study is a way for them to work for the school, get paid. It's a real job. You know, you might be working at the Chick-fil-A or the Wendy's. You might be working in the library. It's just the school gives you a job, and that's how you make money. What kind of job to get? I can't answer that question. I don't even know what you like. So get a job that you don't mind doing. I might answer that later when I have my life together. All right. Girls love your curls. Hi. Thanks for tuning in. I think we're almost done. Ethan wants to know, hi Ethan, is communication and broadcasting close to journalism? Yeah, it is. Santino, what up Santino? I'm a senior at the University of Florida, double major in broadcasting and political science. Okay, NPR. I have a question about my social media presence. I like to joke around and live tweet when ratchet things go on. For example, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. I don't post offensive or opinionated things, but would employers consider what I post inappropriate? Listen, you know what you should do? You should take a political science spin on pop culture. You know, what's his name? What's his name? Like Gene Bougie? Gene somebody. I think he's a reporter at The Root or something. He tweets ratchet stuff all the time, but it's through the lens of somebody who is drawing from other contexts, you know? So I'm not saying make everything educational, but as long as you're not being offensive, as long as you are not like saying slurs and things like that, you should be fine, you know? You can try the whole professional Twitter, ratchet Twitter. That has never worked for me. So people are just going to have to deal. That's my answer. What is college like? Ethan wants to know, this will be my last question. Which Paige kind of wanted to know as well. How does one college? College is a magical place where you can talk to lots of people and do lots of things, and you're allowed to mess up because that's what it's there for. And your professors are like important people in your field, and it's literally their job to nurture you and make you the next generation of amazing people in their field. And you meet people who you would never meet otherwise. You feel what I'm saying? You talk to people of different social groups, different races. You feel what I'm saying? You learn a lot about yourself. You go to your classes on time because you're paying for them hoes. You do notes, you pull all-nighters, you make mistakes, you learn from those mistakes, but you make the mistake again because you're only human. You feel what I'm saying? My biggest thing is do not waste your time. Just like Caitlin had said, do not be spending 4 years of your life just going to class. Like, what? What? You didn't do anything else? Join a club. You know what I'm saying? Be in groups, find a job, an internship, fail at stuff. You know? College is awesome. It really is great. Like the college experience itself. I don't know about like actually having a degree, but because I haven't figured that out yet. I'm not that much of a grown-up. But college is pretty fun. I have lots of fun. My advice, life after high school and college, and sorry if you are watching this and you don't intend on going to college. This is very skewed towards college. I could have another one. I don't know how much of a need there is for people who watch my channel who don't want to go to college, like they want to go into the workforce. I could bring somebody on to talk about that. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is that in general, life, turn up responsibly, okay? And my dad gave me advice that I was like, okay, Dad, but it's true. Do your work now so that it will pay off later. For example, in high school, I wasn't really even checking for nobody. I didn't go to parties. People stopped inviting me after a while. You know what I'm saying? Because I was just like, I have to get out of the city. Because there are so many people who just be like staying put. And I'm like, that is not my portion. So I just focus on my studies, and I got so much college credit that I graduated college a semester early. You feel what I'm saying? And then in college I was able to live the life because I had so much credit, and I didn't have to take math, which I suck at, and I didn't have to take too many sciences, which I suck at. So I could take all the classes that interested me for the most part. So you have time. Don't stress. Be self-aware. If you're feeling a type way, stop and figure out why you're feeling a type way. Because you'd be surprised how many people just be feeling type ways and they don't know why. So like really be in tune with yourself. Be around people who are doing what you want to do, who are where you want to be. And yeah, hopefully this was helpful. This is an hour and a half. And any questions, I might answer them in the comments below. And yeah, holler at me on my various social media sites. Hopefully this was helpful. Basically, don't stress, because you'll look back and be like, oh, that makes sense now. But when you're in it, it's not going to make sense. Just trust me. And I will see you on the internet somewhere. Bye!